Did you know that your body has a built-in countdown timer for sleep? Yeah. But when you first quit using weed, that timer doesn't get the internal cues that it needs in order to stay on track. So by bedtime, you just feel exhausted, wired, overheated, and worst of all, sleepless. So in this video, I'm going to show you how to intentionally reset that timer and then nurture it so that 14 hours later, your body naturally drops into deep, beautiful sleep. This video is actually part 2 of my THC Withdrawal Insomnia series. And if you haven't seen the first video, it's linked in the description below because it covers the quickest way to cue your body for sleep. And it's something that can help you tonight. But the evening pivot is only half of the equation. So today we're going to cover the other half, your morning pivot of your circadian rhythm. Your circadian rhythm is your body's natural 24-hour sleep-wake cycle, and it is heavily influenced by your endocannabinoid system. And that system is responsible for keeping all sorts of parts of your body in balance, like your temperature, your appetite, and, you guessed it, sleep. But if you're using cannabis regularly, then it begins to replace some of the natural neurotransmitters of your endocannabinoid system. And so in time, THC starts to play a role in keeping your body in balance. And this is why you feel terrible in 1,000 different ways when you quit using weed. Suddenly, you can't eat. Your mood is whacked. You have no energy, and yet you still can't sleep. But there is good news because your circadian rhythm doesn't only rely on internal chemistry, it also relies on external cues. So this is where we can rescue ourselves from the nightmare of cannabis withdrawal, because inside your brain, in the hypothalamus, is your master clock, your suprachiasmatic nucleus. And guess what resets this clock every morning? Sunlight hitting your eyes. And this is your morning pivot. Because when sunlight enters your eye, your master clock sends signals to your entire body. And within minutes, cortisol levels start to increase, which increases your alertness. Melatonin production halts, so you don't get sleepy signals anymore. And serotonin levels start to rise, which boosts your mood and gives you more energy. At the same time, your body temperature starts to increase, your appetite starts to increase, because those are both also on circadian timing. So, ideally, go for a 20-minute walk in the morning sun, because exercise is also one of those external cues on your circadian rhythm. And so now your master clock is getting 2 signals to start its countdown. But if you can't get out, indoor sunlight works just as well. Or if you live somewhere dark and cloudy, like I do, light therapy lamps are a great backup. Either way, your body is dependent on a big dose of brightness first thing in the morning to set off this chain reaction that carries out over the course of the entire day, like dominoes falling, and it ends 12 to 14 hours later, naturally, with your body temperature dropping and your energy levels dwindling and serotonin being converted into melatonin until your brain finally says, oh, sleep. So, falling asleep at night is actually dependent on how you wake up in the morning. But it's not just about triggering this chain, it's also about fostering its progress over the course of the day. And if there is anything we want to master in life, it is caring for this very special chain. But before I get into that, if content about restoring your sleep-wake cycle is helpful for you, then please like or subscribe, because it's the easiest way to let both me and YouTube know, and that is genuinely helpful. So, how do you protect your sleep chain so that it naturally ends with sleepy time? Anything that has a recovery period because it creates a physiological change in the body, you want to do earlier instead of later, because otherwise you're going to shift your sleep chain and leave yourself staring at the ceiling for hours. So things like eating, because digestion delays sleep mode. Same thing for exercising. It's going to increase your body temperature, your alertness level, and delay sleep mode. Likewise, working, high stress, high intensity activities, because those jack up cortisol, and cortisol is mutually exclusive with sleeping. So basically anything with a recovery time, do it earlier in the day. And that also means that these last couple hours of the day have the potential to be game changers. So you want to do activities that settle your stress levels down. You need to dim the lights as the evening progresses. Unfortunately, you gotta cut off screen time a couple of hours before bed. And then you want to go to sleep in complete darkness. And I know the screen time one is brutal, but it's the light from the device affects your master clock exactly the same as the morning sun did, in that it raises your cortisol levels, your serotonin levels, your body temperature, and it also halts your melatonin production, and that's your sleepy hormone. And melatonin is only produced in darkness. So it actually takes an extra hour or two after you stop staring at your screen for the melatonin production to begin. Which means that if you start scrolling in bed at night when you are in cannabis withdrawal, you are basically cursing yourself to feel wired, restless, overheated, and exhausted, because your endocannabinoid system doesn't have the internal signals, and now you've eliminated THC, and then you just woke up your master clock. Your body goes through so much when you quit using weed, but if you treat yourself with the love and the structure that you would a small child, it will eventually re-regulate, and it will reward you with deep sleep every night. Which sounds wonderful, but if you've been using a lot of weed daily, then you know exactly what's coming next. Nightmares. It is so unfair that when you can finally sleep again, your dreams are tormented with vivid stories and terror. But there's a real reason that nightmares happen during THC withdrawal. And so in my next video, we're going to talk about that and how to cope with it. And when that's ready for you, it will be available right here. But in the meantime, if you recently quit an addiction and you are struggling to sleep at night, I made a sleep talk down video that is specifically for people in detox. And it will help ease your withdrawal symptoms, relax your body, and drift off to the soothing sound of ocean waves. And that is available for you already right here. Until next time, I wish you a deep and glorious sleep. And let me know in the comments how it's going for you.